Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here to talk about Gladiator II, Ridley Scott's newest film this year that is a sequel to the beloved modern classic Gladiator starring Russell Crowe. And I wish there was a word to use to describe the quality of Gladiator II, a quality which I would say could be defined as enjoyable, fun, well-made, competent, but nonetheless just totally unnecessary and watered down. Now, let's get into more detail on why I think that is.
This our road treats its heroes!
Tears on the mausoleum floor. Blood stains the Coliseum doors.
The gods have spoken!
Yes, Gladiator 2 is a sequel to Gladiator starring Russell Crowe. This film focusing on the story of Lucius, who is the nephew of Commodus in the first film, now grown up, sold into slavery, and fights for revenge in the gladiator arena. Sounds very familiar, right? You know, it sounds almost just like the first film. And that's been a criticism I've seen of this film, that it's too much of a copy paste of the first one, and that I kind of disagree with. Certainly the beats are there, but I think there's quite enough to differentiate it. Certainly the politics of the film within this historical setting, I thought was actually really different and compelling. Having the downfall of Rome serve as the background for the drama that happens with these characters. Obviously the twin emperors, you got Denzel Washington's character, who is a former slave who is now manipulating certain people behind the scenes to be the new emperor of Rome. And then you have Pedro Pascal's character, who you kind of think of as a villain, but his character starts to become more complicated and nuanced as the film goes on. And as far as like all these characters and actors are concerned, I think they're all probably the most compelling part of the film, you know, along with the background of the fall of Rome molding everything. Even like a hardcore villain like Denzel Washington's character, I think what's interesting is that even his motivations, I think, were really compelling, concise, and almost sympathetic. Not to the point where I'm rooting for him, but he is a very complicated character, as is Pedro Pascal's character. So yeah, hands down, the best parts of I think that's like the best part of the film. Fantastic setting, and I think all the side characters and villains are very memorable. Now, notice after I'm praising all these certain aspects of the narrative and all these characters and actors, there's one person I'm leaving out, which is the main protagonist of the film, Lucius, who is the little boy from the first film, now all grown up, played by Paul Mescal. That's because honestly, he's like the central weak link in this film, I feel, and probably like the biggest con of this film, or at least more explicitly. So before I even get to my critiques of that character, I think what this film was trying to do with the character of Lucius was that conceptually they wanted this character to be different from Russell Crowe's Maximus, right? Whereas in Gladiator 1, Maximus is a well-respected general and tactician, who is on a quest for revenge, but his quest is executed with discipline and grace and honor. Lucius' character conceptually is supposed to be a character who's filled with rage, more impulsive and brutal and animalistic, which I think was, you know, conceptually cool. Like, that's a cool way to differentiate your protagonist and not just have it be a copy and paste. The problem is that in execution, it's kind of a copy and paste of Maximus, because the characters in this film kind of like tell us, right, and hint that like that's what Lucius is. Lucius is just an animal, just filled with rage and hate for Rome and those who have wronged him. But with Paul Mescal's performance, first of all, I just feel like either he was miscasted or just given wrong direction, because the way he performs the role, he's just imitating Russell Crowe's Maximus, which just felt kind of just stale, boring. I didn't really feel invested in him as a result. This also goes even for the script of how the character arc and development of Lucius is executed in the script, where Lucius is now all of a sudden just this leader who inspires the morale of his gladiators. All these gladiators are willing to die for him, just like Maximus. Because even though Maximus in the first film, it makes sense, right? You already see him as a very highly decorated general that's respected in all of Rome, responsible for all of these victories. And then you have Russell Crowe, you know, playing him with that sense of honor and charisma. And then even then, like when Maximus goes into the gladiator arena, he still has to like earn his place by being a leader among all these other slaves. Whereas in this film, Gladiator II, it's just right away Lucius is just all of a sudden well loved by the gladiators. He's already, creating master strategies within the arena. It's almost very Mary Sue-ish, even though this is a male character. So as a result, the character I just think feels like a very flat imitation of Maximus for the first one, and kind of drags the film down, in my opinion, because considering that he's the main protagonist and I'm just not really invested in him. I think most of the flaws with this film is less so what does the film do wrong, but more so what did the first Gladiator do so right. For example, like I think the action in this film is well directed, fine, fun even. But when I look back on the first film, there was just more grit to the action choreography. It felt more real, more brutal. You actually had like real tigers within the arena, whereas in this one, it's like CGI rhinos and sharks. You have a similar like kind of conspiracy going on, the fight of Rome, and the idea that they're gonna try to like make Rome return back to the Senate and bring power back to the people. Like all these things, which are like I think executed fine in this film. I just look back in the first Gladiator and be like, yeah, like they did that, but better and more compelling and more concisely, I think. If you guys plan on seeing this movie, I still think it's worth a watch. You will be entertained, no pun intended. But like I said, to kind of water it down, so that's why I think a fair score for this film would be 3 stars. Adequate, but once you watch this movie in theaters, you're kind of gonna forget about it. You're probably just gonna rewatch the first one anyway.
The odds are always against me.
Ready to round!
Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you guys have already seen Gladiator 2. What did you think of it as a sequel? Did it, live up to the first one? Was it totally disappointing? Hit the like button, hit subscribe. I'll see you next time.